Welcome to the Explainer. I am so incredibly glad you're here today. Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of jargon and fine print regarding veterans benefits, you are in exactly the right place. Consider this Explainer your ultimate roadmap. We are going to totally demystify the VA healthcare system, strip away all that confusing bureaucratic noise, and empower you, or the veterans in your life, on the journey to secure the healthcare benefits you absolutely earned.
I mean, it's a completely fair question, right? Navigating VA healthcare? Where on earth you even start? Whenever we're faced with government bureaucracy, it is totally normal to feel a bit lost in the maze of forms and requirements. But don't worry, that's exactly why we're doing this. My promise to you today is that we're going to take a really dense, complex system and turn it into a clear, chronological journey. Step by step, you're going to know exactly where you stand and what to do next.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our game plan. First, are you eligible? Then, special rules for recent vets, the 4 ways to apply, and finally, we'll break down the priority groups, focusing on both disability and income.
All right, Section 1. Are you eligible? Let's look at the minimum requirements and basics.
So this is the absolute foundation. Before we even get into applications or priority groups, we got to answer one vital question. Does your specific service history actually qualify you? Basically, you need to have served in the active military, naval, space, or air service. And the biggest caveat here, your discharge has to be under conditions other than dishonorable. So if you've got an honorable or a general discharge, you're usually good to go. Oh, and this absolutely includes qualifying Reserve and National Guard members too. You definitely haven't been left out of the equation.
Now, a magic number to keep in mind is 24. It's all about the 24 continuous months minimum duty rule. If you enlisted after September 7, 1980, or if you entered active duty after October 16, 1981, you generally must have served 24 continuous months or the full period you were actually called up for. That is the standard baseline the VA works from for modern service members.
But hey, it's a massive system, so of course there are exceptions. If you're looking at that 24-month rule and starting to sweat, hold up a second. That minimum duty requirement might not apply to you if you are discharged for a hardship, an early out, or a disability connected to your line of duty. It also skips you if you need care for specific things like military sexual trauma, or MST. The VA makes sure those really crucial situations completely bypass that strict time limit.
Moving right along, Section 2, Special Rules for Recent Vets and the 10-year window.
Think of this as a countdown clock that returning service members really need to know about. If you served in a theater of operations post 9/11, so after November 11, 2001, listen up. Day 0 on this clock is your most recent discharge date. For the next 10 years, you get what the VA calls enhanced enrollment. And this is a huge deal. It guarantees cost-free health care and nursing home care for conditions that might be linked to your service, and it locks you into Priority Group 6 at a minimum. Then, once you hit that 10-year mark, you don't just lose your care. You are simply moved to the highest standard priority group you qualify for.
Now here's kind of a wild fact. There are actually 4 categories of veterans who technically do not have to enroll in VA healthcare at all. We're talking folks with a 50% or more service-connected disability, those applying for an unrated line of duty disability within a year of discharge, anyone seeking care solely for a service-connected issue or MST, and vets who just want registry exams like the Open Burn Pit or Agent Orange registries. But why does this matter? Well, even if you don't have to enroll, the VA really urges you to. Getting officially enrolled helps them fund and staff clinics nationwide, plus it just makes getting your cost-free care a whole lot smoother.
All right, Section 3, 4 ways to apply and taking action.
So we've got the rules and the timelines down. Now it's time to actually take action. And honestly, the VA is modernized to make this easier than it used to be. You've got 4 clear paths. First, hit the phones. You can call 877-222-VETS or 800-698-2411 and press option 2. They're around Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Second, go online. Jump on va.gov, fill out the application, and their system will actually dig up your supporting military docs automatically. Pretty neat, right? Third, you can go old school and mail your form to the Health Eligibility Center in Janesville, Wisconsin. Or fourth, simply walk into most VA medical centers or clinics and apply face-to-face.
Next up, Section 4, Priority Groups with a Disability Focus, covering groups 1 through 4.
Okay, so you've applied. Awesome. Now we enter the final phase of your journey, figuring out exactly where you land in the system. But real quick, why do these priority groups even exist? Basically, the VA uses them to balance the incredible demand for healthcare with the reality of the resources they actually have. It's essentially a giant national triage system. And a quick heads up, if VA funding changes, they might have to tweak how many groups they can enroll, though they'll always blast that info out if it happens.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the VA chunks these first 4 groups. It's strictly based on the severity of your disability and specific commendations. Group 1 is the absolute highest priority. We're talking a 50% or higher service-connected disability. That's deemed unemployable due to service conditions and Medal of Honor recipients. Group 2, that's your 30% or 40% ratings. Group 3 covers 10% or 20% ratings, but importantly, it also pulls in former POWs, Purple Heart recipients, and folks disabled by VA treatment itself, what they call 1151 benefits. And then Group 4 catches veterans needing aid in attendance, those who are permanently housebound, or those the VA determines are catastrophically disabled.
Moving to Section 5, priority groups with an income focus, covering groups 5 through 8.
All right, now we pivot from disability ratings over to financial needs and historical exposures. Group 5 exists to help non-service-connected vets, so 0% disabled, who have an annual income below the VA's geographically adjusted limit. It also catches veterans on Medicaid or receiving a VA pension. Then there's Group 6, which is this massive, incredibly vital catch-all. It covers veterans with specific, known toxic exposures, like radiation testing, Agent Orange, or serving at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December 1987. It also includes Gulf War vets and, like we talked about earlier, those post-9/11 combat vets, still in their 10-year enhanced window.
Finally, we've got the split between Groups 7 and 8. These are strictly income-driven for anyone who didn't fall into the earlier buckets. Group 7 is for veterans whose gross household income is below the geographic limit for where they live and who agree to pay copays. Group 8, on the other hand, is for vets whose income is above those national and geographic limits who also agree to copayments. And Group 8 is uniquely complex because it has these sub-priorities labeled A and B that completely depend on specific historical enrollment dates, like whether you enrolled before January 2003 or after June 2009.
So, we've walked the entire roadmap, from basic eligibility all the way through the weeds of the priority groups. And honestly, the best part is that once you're successfully enrolled in one of these groups, you can get care at VA facilities literally anywhere in the entire country. So the ultimate question is for you. Are you ready to claim your benefits? Seriously, don't let a little bureaucratic friction stand between you and the healthcare you absolutely earned. Grab your phone or pull up va.gov and take that first step today. After everything we've just uncovered together in this explainer, what's stopping you from securing your future right now?